Hi, I'm Dennis Gonzalez with the Score Esports at day 2 of the Summit 4, and joining me is KuroKy from Team Liquid. KuroKy, take me through the draft of Game 1 against EHOME. You first picked IO, and what was the reasoning for that?
Well, IO is a hero we are very comfortable with, and so it's a very natural first pick for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pretty much go from there when we get this hero.
Was the original pairing for the hero the Razor?
We kind of leave it open, like we'll figure out by the end of the draft who the Wisp should focus on. Like Tiny is, for example, a very natural hero that pairs with Wisp, but Razor is one of the heroes that we also feel comfortable with.
And throughout the early game and somewhat of the mid game, it was fairly even. Where was the turning point for you guys?
In the first game,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the first game was like very straightforward for us.
Okay.
Like it didn't feel like the game was even. It felt more like we had an advantage on them, and all we needed to do is like push the advantage.
You weren't worried about CTY's Ember Spirit? He only died once.
Not really, because our heroes are just very good with dealing with this hero even later on.
Mm-hmm. Game 2 was a little bit different for you guys. EHO managed to turn it around. Can you walk me through the draft in Game 2?
Well, the draft was kind of okay for us in the second game, even though we have decided that we should focus a little bit different strategy-wise, because our lineup was extremely teamfight heavy, but we couldn't really like get map control at some point. On top of that, we felt like we misplayed a lot of situations, because our lineup, it's like here we take a really good fight, because our team fight is something they wouldn't be able to deal with unless they overpower us with items, which pretty much happened.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we misplayed a little bit there, should have drafted a little bit different, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm. Did the anti-mage kind of surprise you? I think C2I doesn't really play the hero too much.
It was on the back of my mind, but I don't feel like the anti-mage was a problem.
Mm. Did you happen to see the build that he went for?
Yeah, we did. So it was surprising.
Yeah, but you guys weren't too worried about the anti-mage.
I mean, overall, we know that anti-mage doesn't really like stop our draft, but at the same time, we just couldn't deal with the pushes. Like they kicked our towers very early on in the game. It was very well done by EHOME, and we couldn't really deal with it. So that was the main problem.
I also noticed that throughout most of the game, the kills were fairly even. Did that give you a false sense of security?
Well, overall, we're pretty experienced players, so we understand when we actually start losing the game. And the kill score is not something you look at as a baseline how the game is going. It's more like who's having a map control, like who's farming more. You get an idea of it, how quick your opponent is farming. These things they matter more usually.
Mm. Game 3 had the most unique draft from both teams. You guys utilized the Necrophos, and the EHOME picked up the Tidehunter. Could you walk me through that draft?
Well, Necro works very well with Wisp usually, so it was a natural pick for us. And I guess they picked Tidehunter to stop the Wisp actually, because it's very hard to relocate onto the team fight because of the Ravage. But I don't really feel threatened when I see Tidehunter, so I didn't really care.
And the same thing with the Dazzle.
Yeah, didn't really care about him either, because we had like our heroes, they just deal with him. Like even though the Dazzle was pretty strong, but the game didn't really go like we wanted to. We felt like we just didn't play well, but at the same time we knew that our draft is superior to them, so that's why we're still confident in winning.
Through the early game, you guys were actually down 5-0. How did you guys turn that around?
Well, early game kills, they don't really matter so much in Dota. Dota is more than just kills. It's, like I said, about some map control and farming speed, and like how good your cores fare against your opponent cores, and what the supports will eventually do in the game. Obviously, it wasn't the start we wanted, but we just felt very confident with our draft overall. We just like needed to do what we needed to do, as in play our strategy to eventually come back into the game.
What was the moment that you realized that you guys won?
It was pretty much only by the end. The game was very open. It could have went both ways. So there was some luck on our side, took some good fights, and then we just won at the end.
Going forward, you guys are going to be facing the winners of Evil Geniuses and Digital Chaos. How do you feel about that?
Well, I look forward playing them, I guess. It's like whatever opponent.
Do you have a preference?
Not really. I think EG's probably the better team, but at the same time, DC has a new player now, so I don't really know what they're up to and how good they are. It's hard to say.
Well, good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.